Welcome back to my channel. I'm Zamore, and I was very excited to talk about this topic because ever since I was a kid, I've been very fascinated by space, astronomy, and the possibility of life outside of this world. Personally, I do believe aliens exist. With how vast space is, I think it's mathematically impossible for there not to be life if we're proof that life can exist. Um, but whether or not they've been to Earth and have affected humanity, that's where the big debate lies. Well, a couple months ago, Trump did say that he was going to start releasing classified UFO documents, and sure enough, a couple weeks ago, they started doing that. And you could go to war.gov/UFO and start seeing the stuff that they have. A lot of it's stuff that's like, yeah, we've seen that or seen things of it, but some of it is interesting, like the fact that they claim that there's four different types of alien, which all of those types we've basically seen in one way or another, not in like real life, but like we've heard of them, like the typical grays, the reptilians, which I guess some of the government leaders are them, the insectoids, which are like praying mantis looking, and of course the Nordic. I guess if you're blonde haired, blue eyed, pale and tall, you're technically an alien. So, but that I found pretty interesting. Uh, but the one thing that really stood out to me is that we have satellites that can peer out into space and capture planets and suns and um, space structures that are hundreds of thousands, millions of light years away. We have satellites that can zoom in down to Earth and clearly see the driver's license of a person. But for some reason, when it comes to UFO videos, everything looks like it's been released on a 1980s black and white CCTV. It's really hard to see, really hard to make out. It makes people more skeptical than not when they're seeing this stuff. But since the government has pretty much, in a roundabout way, admitted to their to be aliens, why not just flat out show us stuff that's more concrete? They claim that they have, recovered spacecraft over the decades. They claim to have biologics or bodies somewhere, probably Area 51 and other classified locations. So why not just admit to it? It's not gonna like make humanity go crazy or blow our minds to where all of society will collapse. No, if anything, I think it'd be a benefit to humanity if you allow more scientists, more people with smarter brains that I could ever have, maybe start helping reverse engineer this. Because I don't know about you, but I personally think it'd be great to have that type of technology where we can power the entire planet with virtually no effort, or travel from New York to Australia in seconds, maybe go to the moon in seconds, maybe go down into the oceans without imploding, like, the submarine did when it went to go visit the Titanic. I think that technology will help us a lot, and who knows what other things they have that can help us. I think it's time to go from a type 0 civilization to a type 1 and start focusing on bigger, grander things. And maybe that'll provide more jobs for people since, the job market sucks today. But nonetheless, um, they put out the stuff, and I wanted to watch it with y'all to get your opinion, what you guys think about aliens and this footage that we're seeing.
News Nation chief correspondent Brian Enton has been pouring through these documents. Brian, hello. What videos caught your attention?
Yeah, I've been going through these videos and the new documents since 8 a.m. this morning, Hannah, when they all were first released. And there's some really interesting ones. 64 total, second big batch that's been released. President Trump obviously ordered that these videos be released. Let me show you this first one. This is video here from a U.S. military sensor in Syria. This one is getting a lot of attention. The video, I think we're going to play it here in a second. The video is from 2021. And you can see what looks like a bright sphere. There it is. Sort of like a...
Yeah, see, this is what I mean. Very grainy, hard to see. Is this the best that we can capture? if this is being caught from a, a jet or a plane or something, why not have a better image to show us than this? I know this could technically be anything, but at the speeds that it's going, that's where they're saying that this could be a UFO, because it's going probably like thousands of miles per hour. Who knows how fast it's going?
Bright sphere-looking orb traveling over the surface. And if you wait a couple of seconds here, Hannah, and watch it closely, it picks up speed, and then it literally...
Whoa. Did you see that? That is what I mean. That's like zipping away. If we could have that, imagine how that would change travel. That would change society for the better if we can do that.
It just zooms off. There it was, right there at the end. That is the part that experts are especially perplexed by, because our technology, we are told, just couldn't do that. Where at the end there, it literally just zooms off the screen. All right.
And the reason why I think the government is skeptical about like coming out and saying that this stuff exists and that we have the, spacecrafts that could do that is because every government in the world, they always think in terms of war. How could we weaponize this? How could we apply this to war? And they wouldn't want our adversaries to have it. We want to be able to be the first to have it, because we could technically take over the world if we're the only ones that could do this.
Next video, this one is interesting, Hannah. A formation of UFOs over the Persian Gulf. You see right there, again captured by a military
I've seen
sensor.
stuff like this before.
There are what appear to be 3 dots. You can see traveling together. Sometimes they kind of space apart a little more, and then they get closer together.
I've seen like the 3 dot lights, flying through space before. I think that's like the most common spacecraft image that most people have seen, is the 3 lights that are traveling together, flying through space. I dismissed it as like a plane or maybe like jets all flying close together, because they weren't really flying so fast that it made me think like, oh, that's a UFO. But yeah, the most common image that most people have seen.
And this video was uploaded to a classified network in October of 2019. Again, experts do not seem to know what this is. Another video here, we move on to the next one. This one is from October of 2020. Look at that. See that little black dot? We circled it. Traveling across the city. We don't know exactly where this is. The military isn't telling us. But again, captured by a military sensor. They don't know what it is, and it just moves very slowly there. Across the screen, again, from October 2020. It goes from the city there, and then it goes out over to the mountains. I wish we knew the location. There's a lot they left out when they gave descriptions for these videos. We don't know if they're being vague on purpose, but this one was interesting, Hannah. You see, just continues to move over the mountains there. Some of these videos, we obviously clipped them down for you. But some of them go on 10, 13 minutes, where they literally track these objects, and it just goes on and on and on, and then eventually the object leaves the screen.
Yeah, like I wonder what's inside it. Is it like living creatures? Is it just like a drone? What could be powering it? That's the other thing. Like that could change the way that we build, our spacecraft, or like our planes and our cars, with whatever's powering this up.
Also in the release today, there was a recording of an astronaut Scott Carpenter from 1962. This radio recording, Hannah, when he was up in space on the radio. This recording has never been released before, where there's no video, but he described seeing something very strange, something that he said looked like snowflakes, and again, that was unexplained. Hannah?
I mean, the mystery still remains, but always fun to watch and get to the bottom of this. Brian Entin, thank you. My next guest directed and produced the explosive film, The Age of Disclosure. It features interviews with over 30 government insiders and alleges an 80-year global cover-up, concealing the existence of intelligent alien life and, of course, technology. Dan Farah joining me live.
That's the other thing, too, is we have scientists around the world. We have people constantly looking at space. How are they able to keep that a secret? Humans have a natural tendency of wanting to share with other humans the unbelievable things they see. And I know people are behind, you know, secrecy in the government. You know, they have to like swear an oath, and you know, probably their life is at risk if they ever leaked any of this stuff. But how is it that like we have thousands of people staring into space on a daily basis, but only the government is able to, you know, capture uh these videos and no one else? Or maybe are normal people capturing them and the government just quickly comes and snatches it away and say never speak of this or you're dead?
Now, Dan, welcome to the show. We've been excited to talk to you all day. Your film argues we're entering a new era of disclosure, transparency after today's release. Do you believe this is the transparency the UFO community has been looking for this whole time?
Yeah, look, I think we're living through a major turning point in human history, and I couldn't be prouder of the role the film is playing in it. You know, the age of disclosure drove a national conversation that led to our government taking this historic, unprecedented disclosure movement and moving it forward.
Well, there's a couple of videos that are getting a lot of buzz tonight. I talked about a few. Brian Ensign brought up a few as well. One video was filmed by an infrared sensor. It was on a military platform. It happened near Syria in 2021. It shows an object that appears to just instantaneously accelerate, going from a dead stop to extreme speed in a fraction of a second. I believe that's the video. Yeah, that is it.
How are they
What do you make
doing
of what
that?
we're seeing, Dan?
Look, I think a lot of the videos released today and in the first tranche of evidence released on May 8th, they show UAP performing in ways that no known aircraft can. These things are moving faster than our fastest fighter jets. They're displaying the ability to do instantaneous acceleration.
Yeah, and I'm stupid. I don't know how any of this stuff works, but I think that they're like bending space time similar to how like a black hole does, or like the more gravity there is, it's capable of slowing down time. I think they're finding a way of utilizing gravity to like bend space and move through it. Like to them, they're probably going the same speed, but because they're bending space, to the outsider looking in, they're freaking zooming off. But I'm an idiot. I don't know how any of this works. This is just like a thought of like, what if that's what they're doing? Maybe I've watched too many like space shows or movies about, you know, spacecraft.
Simply put, there is no human-made technology that can do that.
Let's move on to another video that appears to show the moment a fighter jet shot down a UFO over Lake Huron. This was in
What? So our jets are capable of shooting down a UFO? So that means we must have some of these in our possession. But for a craft that can fly like that, I'm surprised that with our weaponry, we're able to shoot it down, especially if it's able to go into space. Very shocked that our rockets are able to do any damage.
2023. This incident came after a Chinese spy balloon was spotted over the U.S. We're
Yeah, and that looks like a balloon. It's got the little string. It's like an alien sperm or something.
looking at that video now. Huh.
Whoa.
And then you kind of just see it implode. What do you make of this?
Yeah, look,
Blew it up.
it's more of the same. I think what we're seeing now is the evidence that the government can safely declassify and share with the public. But you know, it's important to remember this barely scratches the surface. There is a lot of evidence that still exists within various federal agencies, various private defense contractors, and branches of the military
Pop goes the
that
balloon.
is still heavily classified. Right now, what's happening is the White House is driving forward an effort to get that evidence out of those federal agencies and out of the various branches of the military so that they can start declassifying more. But what we're seeing now barely scratches the surface. There's a lot of evidence that shows UAP that are clearly not made by humans doing things that humans do not currently have the ability to do.
Your documentary alleges an 80-year global cover-up concealing the existence of alien life and, of course, its technology. The Pentagon has not drawn any conclusions as to whether these videos indicate non-human life. But what do you think? Do you think these are actual alien videos that have been released that we're watching?
Look, all my sources inside of government, the military, and the intelligence community very clearly have ruled out UAP being made by humans. There's no reason to believe this is human-made technology. It's certainly.
There's two of them. There's the one with the red dot, and there's another one that's flying past it to the kind of like left of it. That is crazy. I've also heard a story that like an astronaut that's been to space said that there's like those type of like little balls just zipping around in space like all the time. That's actually more common than we think.
One of our adversaries, a foreign nation, had leapfrogged us by 100 years technologically and made these things. That's the biggest story in the history of the world on its own. If somebody within the U.S. has leapfrogged the rest of humanity by 100 years and figured out how to crack this technology, and the U.S. government is unaware of it, that also is the biggest story in the history of the world. And if it turns out definitively all of this is, controlled by non-human intelligent life, that's the biggest story in the history of the world. Any way you cut it, what's unfolding, in real time before our eyes is the biggest story in the history of humanity.
Yeah, and many people out there will agree with you, including me, really. So there will be a third drop in the near future. What other files are you hoping to see?
Non-black and white ones?
My understanding is that this is going to be a rolling disclosure process, and there's likely going to be more declassified evidence every few weeks, if not every month. What's actually unfolding right now is the White House is trying to get this evidence out of the various federal agencies and the branches of the military and defense contractors. And as they get access to evidence, they can then evaluate it and decide what can be declassified and what still needs to remain classified.
That's like Goku flying through space on his way to save the world.
Classified, but there's certainly a battle waging behind the scenes. A lot of these intelligence agencies, keep in mind, they're intelligence agencies. Their stated purpose is secrecy, right? They're in the.
But why? Why does alien information have to be classified? Why does it have to be secret? Why can't people know? It's not for national security. It's not because it's going to, blow our minds. It's not for any reason you claim it is. It just doesn't seem like those reasons are valid enough for it to be a secret anymore.
Business of secrets, and so they're not easily giving up this evidence and these secrets they hold. So there's this tug of war happening behind the scenes where the president's cabinet is trying to wrestle this evidence out so that they can start sharing stuff with the public. And it's going to be a rolling process. It's going to be that's why I called the film, my documentary, The Age of Disclosure, not the moment of disclosure, right? Because it's not a singular moment. It's a process that's going to unfold, and it's going to have milestones and hurdles, and it's going to play out most likely over the course of this entire year. But one day we'll look back at this relatively small period of time, and I think we'll view it as the age of disclosure, the period in time where all of this extremely significant information that's been covered up for decades becomes known to the public.
If we blew up one of these alien spacecrafts, isn't that like us declaring war on them? Aren't we showing that we're hostile and that we are willing to kill them? And if they have technology that far surpasses ours, couldn't they retaliate in a shitty way? Or maybe we have been in contact with these aliens and we're in talks with them. Who knows?
All right, Dan Farah, thank you so much. His film, The Age of Disclosure, is available for purchase or rent on Prime Video. Thank you again, Dan.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download.
Thank you guys for watching this with me. Let me know what you think. Is it time for, the government to release this, whatever evidence they may have about aliens? Is it time to move forward and harness the technology that they have? Or is this all just a bunch of bullshit? Is this a distraction? Is there something else the government is doing and they're releasing the stuff to distract us from something that is, far more important that they don't want us knowing? Let me know what you guys think. If you liked it, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. If you're vibing with me, give me a sub. But yeah, until next time, I'm Zamore, and we'll see you in the next video.